Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. Let's get right to our political panel. No shortage of items to discuss. Democratic strategist Paul Begala, Republican strategist Ana Navarro, and national spokesperson for the Trump campaign, Katrina Pearson. Katrina, let's play what Donald Trump just said a little while ago at a rally.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
now, it's not just the Clinton campaign that says that sounds like he's making a reference for violence against Clinton. The former CIA director, national security advisor to President George W. Bush, or I'm sorry, the NSA director for George W. Bush, General Michael Hayden was here. It sounds like that to him. What exactly was Mr. Trump saying?
Mr. Trump was saying exactly what he said. He was talking about Hillary Clinton and gun control, essentially, which is something that has been talked about a lot on the campaign trail. Hillary Clinton is a gun grabber, and everyone knows that if she's in a position to appoint Supreme Court justices, she will do everything she can to remove the Second Amendment. So Mr. Trump was clearly pointing that out, as he does every day on the campaign trail. But we also know that unification is key, which is exactly what our statement says coming out. There are a lot of Americans in this country who support the Second Amendment. There are millions of members of the NRA, and the NRA endorsed Mr. Trump earlier than anyone in history. So this is very important in November, if you care about your Second Amendment rights, to get out there and vote. And that's what he's talking about.
But Katrina, he was talking about what Second Amendment activists could do to stop her if she won, to stop her from appointing a gun control nominee to the Supreme Court. It wasn't about November. It was, if she gets in there, folks, there's nothing you can do. I don't know, folks, maybe Second Amendment folks, maybe there's something you can do. So it's not about November, it's after November.
Well, no, that's actually not what he was talking about, because just before that, he was saying what could happen, as you just said, what could happen. And he doesn't want that to happen. And in order to stop that, people that support their Second Amendment rights need to come together and get out there and stop Hillary Clinton from winning in November.
Byron York, a conservative columnist who I would not describe as anti-Trump, he just wrote on Twitter, "Why can't Trump say, I misspoke? I didn't mean it how it sounded. I meant we should all unite to defeat Hillary Clinton. It might do wonders." Katrina, why can't Mr. Trump say that?
Well, I think you just saw a clarification come out from the campaign talking about exactly what he meant to say. He was talking about unification and coming together to stop Hillary Clinton from appointing justices to take away the Second Amendment rights.
Anna, what did it sound like to you?
Look, I think it's open for interpretation. I think the folks who are supporters of Donald Trump are going to say it sounded like he was reading from the honor code of the Boy Scouts. I think for a lot of people, it sounded like a veiled threat on Hillary Clinton.
But what did it sound like to you?
It sounded like yet another stupid thing that comes out of Trump's mouth. It sounded like, oh my God, here we go again. It's Groundhog Day. Just when I thought he might be shifting into policy with that speech yesterday, here we're all going to have to react to yet another stupid, undisciplined thing that Donald Trump said, because he seems not to understand the power of words, particularly the power of words used by somebody who is the Republican nominee, the nominee of a major party. Words matter. There's a lot of people out there who the last thing they need is to get more inflamed, to get angrier. And I think that's where Donald Trump fails so miserably. He can't seem to grasp the importance of his position and the weight and influence he now carries.
Paul?
Yeah, a reasonable person would, I think, take that to mean a veiled threat. Certainly General Hayden did. He's a very reasonable person. The question is, how does an unreasonable person take it? Okay, and every day, and I have for years, I wear this American flag pin, but it's also given to me by the Secret Service. They protected my boss every day when I worked in the White House. They protected President Bush against enormous threats after 9/11.
They protect Donald Trump.
And thank God they do. They have already stopped one animal who was trying to go after Mr. Trump, and thank God they did. They protect his family, too. This is not something that should be joked about. And I hope at the best case you could say he was joking. Didn't seem like a joke to me. And Tony Schwartz, the guy who actually wrote The Art of the Deal, says Trump never jokes. So I fear that an unbalanced person hears that, as Anna points out, in this inflamed environment, and God forbid thinks that that was a threat. I certainly take it as a threat. I really do. And Trump needs to apologize.
While we're on the subject of unbalanced people, the Orlando terrorist, his father, Sadiq Mateen, appeared behind Hillary Clinton at a rally last night. He was very visible. He has said some horrific things out there and talking about gays, about the Taliban. Obviously, he's the father of a terrorist. He says he supports Hillary Clinton. You can't coordinate with the Hillary Clinton campaign, I don't think. What do you think, what would you advise them if you were allowed to? What would you say them to say? Because she has not said anything about this.
Disavow him. She doesn't want his support, and her campaign doesn't want his support. It may take a while to get their act together. Candidates here, the vice presidential candidates here, the campaign chairman's here. I've run campaigns. At this stage, they're a very big battleship. But they need to go to battle stations here. They need to disavow this guy. And I guess I can say this because I can't coordinate the campaign. They need to fire the advance person. Now, thousands of people came to that rally. You can't screen every one of them to find out if they posted something crazy or their son is a terrorist. I get that. But he was in the shot. He was behind the candidate.
Very visible.
He was, and so I hate to turn on my own, but that was a bad advance move right there, and the campaign needs to disavow that man.
Katrina?
Jake, if this were a Donald Trump rally, it would have been breaking news and there would be mass chaos in the media right now. This man says he was invited by the Clinton campaign. He was strategically paced right behind her. This is an individual who praised the Taliban, which, by the way, just joined ISIS, for crying out loud. And no one is demanding that the Clinton campaign come out and explain or even denounce this person?
I think Paul just did.
Well, let me also
Katrina, because I just said I guarantee you she's going to disavow.
Well, let me just also say, I mean, I have asked for a response from the Clinton campaign, and I have not gotten one. I
bet you do now.
Well, they should hurry up and do it. And this was, I think, this was an uncommon flaw. But what we've seen is a very well-run campaign. They don't commit these type of mistakes. When they do, they need to acknowledge it. They need to remedy it and solve it quickly.
But what's the problem? Why would you hold? I mean, I'm asking you to speculate, so I won't do that. But
no,
like,
I just think
you just think it's logistics?
It's a logistical thing. It's a huge campaign at this stage. It's not like when you're starting out and it's very, very nimble.
I mean, there were 3,000 people there. It was a big rally, but this guy was fair. I mean, he looked familiar to me when the first time I saw a picture of him behind her.
I myself would not have recognized him, but if you're putting someone in the shot, you ought to run a Google or a security or a social security check, some sort of check. If they're in the picture, if they're in the auditorium, goodness sakes, I can't fault them for that. But he was in the shot, and I think an advanced person could be in a lot of trouble right now.
All right, Anna, Katrina, Paul, thank you all. A Ferris wheel accident